His name is Derek Trotter. They all know him round here. You'll find him at the Neck's Head or selling that hooky gear. Why do only fools and horses work? Welcome back, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and more, and welcome back to another play review. And today's play review is none other than Only Fools and Horses, the musical. Let's not beat around the bush and let's get right into the gist of it. So, what is Only Fools and Horses about? For anyone who hasn't watched the TV show and hasn't watched the plays, well, essentially, Only Fools and Horses is about two brothers, a granddad, an uncle, and essentially it's about this shift of family dynamic as the story progresses. It's about these two brothers from Peckham who make money from making pretty much selling off dodgy gear. And essentially, they do this over and over and over, and each time one of the brothers has a brilliant idea of how he believes he's going to be able to one day be a millionaire. And one of the other brothers is pretty much his kind of lackey boy, along with his brother and people down the pub. Now, people in his local area always fall for his little schemes. He manages to sell them clocks, you name it, he sold it. So let's give you the name of each and every character before we get into the story of this play. We have Del Boy, the grifter, the guy, the big man, the boss man, as we should say. He's the brother who's always trying to sell everyone everything. We have Rodney, who has GCEs in maths and art, and can't seem to know the difference when his brother's trying to rob him out of money. We have Grandad, and we have Uncle Albert. We have Marlene. Everybody knows Marlene. We have Raquel, and we have Cassandra. Then we have Denzel. Then we have Boise. Then we have Mickey, and then we have Trigger. Rodney meets Cassandra whilst on a computer course, and Del Boy meets Raquel through a dating agency. What, your name was Dave? Dave? Apologies, just had to chuck that one in there. But right, let's get back to the gist of the play. So the play takes from one of the episodes, one of my favourite episodes personally. It takes bits and pieces from all sorts of episodes of the history of Only Fools and Horses. It has a brilliant joke about Del Boy and the way that he introduces himself to the dating line. A bit of assault, as he says in the song. And Not Now, Grandad, We're Trying to Have a Row is a great song about the two brothers pretty much clashing heads. Throughout the course of the TV show, they've always clashed heads. And the fact that the person who wrote this play kept that in is what I think was brilliant. Grandad spends most of the first half of the play in the background. He has a bit of a laugh with everyone, a bit of a lark. But then times become tough. So most of the play is pretty much about Rodney having debt with two of the brothers out there. There's two gangsters from one of the episodes. I do apologise for not remembering their names, but there's these two real hard nuts, and pretty much Del has a bit of a grievance with them, has done him over for something, and now he has to pay the piper. Del takes the punches so that Rodney doesn't have to, and Rodney enjoys his wedding day. Throughout the course of the play, Del is constantly trying to provide for his brother whilst also trying to keep his family and his mates together. He's trying to essentially have everything he wants, but also trying to swindle his way as much as he can. To make matters worse, he's always got the Rozzers on his back, or as most people know, the police, or as some people like to call them in other areas, the pigs. There's a lot of names we could go down, but let's not go there. But, yep, essentially throughout the course of the play, and one of the brilliant pieces, set pieces in the interval between the first half and the second half of the play is that an absolutely incredible setup from the set team. You have a chandelier smashed down on top of the three-wheel van. Another great thing that happens in this play is the transition from Grandad to Uncle Albert. Now, for anyone who hasn't watched the series but is very confused when they go on to watch the play, essentially the reason why this happened is because in the original series, the actor of Grandad passed away halfway through one of the series, so Uncle Albert was introduced to take his place. There's also a great song in this play called Little Tadpoles. Now, for anyone who doesn't quite get this joke, it's an adult joke about the fact that Boise and Marlene have constantly been trying to have a kid. And Boise's sperm, let's just be honest, let's not even beat around the bush. Boise's sperm isn't working. So they make this whole song and rendition in this play about, I'm gonna let my tadpole swim. Or the teeny tiny patter of tiny feet. There's also another brilliant song in this play called Gaze Into My Ball. And essentially it's a joke about Trigger's grandma. Clairvoyant was she, if only she'd seen the number 73. A completely brilliant joke about the fact that his clairvoyant grandma gets hit by a bus. Yes, I know that sounds tragic and it's a little bit morbid if you think about it, but it's not the main point of that song. Gaze Into My Ball isn't just about his grandma, it's also about the future of Peckham, and it's Trigger's way of kind of predicting what's going to happen after his and Del Boy and everyone's time. And one of the major points that I think is really brilliant is the fact that they hint at maybe the potential that Damien, Del's son, will go on to become a popular rapper. Alongside a lot of businesses will change and a lot of multicultural things will move on. This is a brilliant statement in this because, of course, the East End and a lot of places around the country over the years since now have all changed. The amount of people I heard years ago, and I still hear it in certain areas to this day, who didn't realize that cultures were going to move in and cultures were going to move out. But now it's fully hitting a lot of them, and they're finally seeing the cultural shock. Is absolutely magnificent sometimes because there's so much that people bring in, and there's so much that people bring out. And when people move into places, people often they're too used to living in the past, and that's essentially what this song is trying to represent. Is the idea of having a guy from Guatemala or anywhere else in the world taking over a barista shop, showing that the times are changing and the people are changing, and things are never going to stay the same. And it ends with pretty much Del Boy and everyone dismissing it. But as we know, and as everyone in the real world knows, this has happened. So them denying it is just a really ironic, beautiful joke. But besides that, let's get back to the point of the play. So essentially, the story continues. Cassandra and Rodney have a bit of a row and try and figure things out, but eventually they get married and become very happy. Del Boy and Raquel have a great moment together, and pretty much all the relationships and everything are resolved. And the play ends with the beautiful montage of Only Fools and Horses. Why do Only Fools and Horses work? Which is pretty much the whole beauty of the series. When I used to watch the series, is the question of why can Del Boy and Rodney get away with doing what they do compared to everyone else? Well, it's not necessarily the fact that the pair of them are smarter than anyone. No, it's about their concept. It's about their consistency, and most important, it's about their persistence. They never give up on each other. They may be two brothers who are always tiffing. They may be two brothers who are always taffing at each other. They may be always trying to rip each other's throats out. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, as this play proves, Del is there for his brother through and through. Whether it comes down to taking beatings or having to pay up the piper or even having to find a way to get things for his wedding due, Del will do it. And that has always been the beauty of that TV show. And on top of it, this play. And for that reason, I give Only Fools and Horses the play a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next play review. Till then, goodbye, and have an incredible night.